Welcome back, everyone, to NYU Grads Daily Podcast. It is Thursday, 4:30 p.m. on September 14th. We have some things to cover today. Very strong rally day. No complaints here. It seems that everything is expecting either the Fed to pivot or to, at the very least, signify that rate hikes and that regime is complete and the fight for inflation is almost over and successful. I think that is what prices are anticipating, but let's jump into it right now. When I take a look at the major indexes today, the Dow closed up 331 points. The NASDAQ closed up 112, up 0.8%, and the S&P 500 closed up 37 points, also about 0.84%. Now, I do want to make a quick note here that the Russell 2000 actually led the way. The RTY futures contract was up 1.53% today, but keep in mind the Russell and Russell 2000 shares were selling off very recently. So this was a very strong bounce day. Volume picked up across the board, so I can't complain about volume. Breadth was pretty strong as well. You had 71% of shares advancing versus 25% declining. We had 175 new highs, but curiously, we had more new lows. We had 260 new lows today. We'll have to keep a pulse on that. And we made some progress here, whereas the last session we were close to 70% below the 50-day moving average. Today, with the closing numbers, we had 63% below the 50-day moving average. So we're chipping away at that metric as well. Very bullish day. Volatility was sold off. But the only other thing I want to mention here, and I've brought this up multiple times, and I've been right historically, is that yields, energy were also up today. So bonds were falling, yields were very high. The 10-year was up almost 1%, which is a huge move. You had oil prices go higher today. So when you have risk assets going up very strong, along with interest rates going up pretty strong, one of those is lying, and we usually will see a resolution within a day or so. Keep in mind, next week, September 20th, on Wednesday, is going to be the Fed rate hike decision. We'll know then if they're going to raise again or pause, and they're also going to give guidance moving forward what their rate, the terminal rate, will be and where they're happy with. So next week's going to be very important. I feel that looking at today's news flow, there was nothing really to. I mean, the PPI numbers came out, and yesterday was a CPI, but other than that, I didn't see anything in the news flow to have the market go up this high. So my deduction here is that this is all in anticipation of next week, or something has already leaked and Wall Street is moving first. But just kind of to summarize the day, the other thing that I think is also kind of not bearish, but of a red alert today, there was an IPO of Softbank's holdings ARM. The ticker is called ARM, ARM. They're a chip design company, and they IPO'd at like $51 and it closed up like 20%, I think. But it's off the highs, and their PE ratio is at 110, which is even higher than NVIDIA's. So, typically these type of IPOs happen at the end of a bull run, and Softbank also is known for overvaluations. So you can put ARM on your radar. Most IPOs will revisit the IPO price, whether it's within a day, a week, a year, 10 years. Eventually, it'll find that $51 price point. I guarantee it. I just don't know by when. And everything looks right now bullish, right? Like the SPY, S&P 500 index, is 9 points away from the 1-year high. And it's only 7% away from lifetime highs from last year. So despite all of the economic headwinds, the interest rate hikes, the issues with mortgage rates, the issue with consumer debt, the issue with government debt, prices are just not caring. So we're in a bullish impulse still. And I mentioned that until you see everything fall below the 50 or even the 200, the bullish impulse is alive. As I mentioned earlier, bond prices continue to fall. Yields were very high today. So one of those will resolve. I will post charts on the show notes, but there's a large cup and handle in the QQQ and the SPYs still playing out. It's still in play. If we break up above 460 on the SPY, that will confirm the cup and handle breakout. So what stuck out to me, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but, oil, energy, yields were all strong today. That really stuck out. All of the sectors were green. There was no red sectors today. However, if you look at what led, it was basic materials and real estate. Technology was second to last. So that's another thing to watch out for. What was strong? I mentioned ARM's IPO. CVNA Carvana was strong. CarMax, Coin, Etsy. So do you want those to be the leaders? That's also kind of a red flag for me. What was weak? Volatility. I actually started to add to my volatility holdings today on the discount. Sweetgreen, Netflix, and Zillow Group were all weak. What to watch? It really is a broken record. It's watch the yields, bonds, Magnificent Seven, and next week on the 20th is the Fed rate decision at 2 p.m. September 20th. To reiterate, so those are the important tentpole events to watch out for. I'll see you guys on the next podcast.